Part 1. From Luxury to Desperation. The Birth of a Mastermind and His Perfect Heist Plan. Evan Harper had always known privilege. Born into one of the wealthiest families in the city, his world was one of luxury and ease. His father, a business tycoon, was a man who controlled everything in his life, from the companies he owned to the homes he lived in. But it all came crashing down in the blink of an eye. The market crashed. Investments failed. Lawsuits piled up. And just like that, the Harper empire, once untouchable, crumbled. The family's fortune evaporated, and with it, the life Evan had always known. His father, once a proud figure of strength, grew ill and bitter, overwhelmed by the weight of financial ruin. His mother, once the epitome of grace, withdrew into silence. Evan was left with the remnants of a broken legacy, the weight of disappointment hanging heavy on his shoulders. Desperate to avoid the same fate, Evan made a choice. He would not live in the shadows of his father's failure. He would build something of his own, something far more dangerous and thrilling than business empires. He would build a life in crime. It started small. A few stolen luxury items here and there, discreetly sold to collectors. But as the thrill of success fueled his ambitions, Evan's plans grew bolder. He became a man of precision, each job executed with flawless accuracy, each plan meticulously crafted. He wasn't a mere thief, he was a mastermind, a strategist, an artist in the craft of heisting. Then came the job, a heist that would set him and his team for life. A priceless diamond, locked away in a high-security vault, sitting at the heart of a grand building owned by one of the city's wealthiest elites. It was the kind of job that could make a criminal legend. But it wouldn't be easy. The vault was armed with state-of-the-art security systems, guards at every corner, and a complex layout that would challenge even the most skilled burglars. Evan needed a team, a group of individuals who were just as skilled as he was, if not more. Each member had to possess a unique set of skills, and only the best would do. The first was Sophie, a tech genius who could hack into any system with ease. The second was Leo, the muscle of the group, strong and silent, capable of handling any physical threat. And last but not least, Maria, the driver, quick-witted, cool under pressure, and with the ability to get them in and out undetected. Together, they would execute the perfect heist. Evan spent weeks preparing, laying out every step with precision. The plan was flawless. There would be no room for error. The diamond would be his, and once he had it, he would never have to look over his shoulder again. But as Evan sat in his small, dimly lit office, staring at the blueprints for the building, something inside him shifted. For the first time, he began to wonder, what was the price of all this? The thrill, the danger, the deception, it all seemed to pale in comparison to the life he once had. The life he had lost. But there was no turning back. The heist was set, and nothing would stop him from pulling it off. Evan's days blurred into one long series of meticulous calculations. He could feel the weight of each passing hour, the pressure of knowing that if he made one mistake, everything he'd worked for would crumble, just like his father's empire. He spent sleepless nights poring over the vault's security systems and the building's blueprints. Every detail had to be perfect. If he was going to pull off this job, he needed to anticipate every obstacle and every potential mistake. Sophie had been the first to sign on. She was the kind of person who lived for the challenge, her eyes always on the next big thing. Her skills were unparalleled. She could hack into any security system without a trace, her fingers dancing over keyboards like a virtuoso. She was the one who had cracked the code to the building security, disabling it just long enough for the team to slip inside undetected. Leo came next. He was a man of few words, but his reputation preceded him. There was no better muscle in the business. He had spent years working as a bodyguard for high-profile individuals, and his calm demeanor under pressure made him the perfect fit for this heist. Evan trusted him implicitly. He had to. Leo was the team's protector, ensuring that no one would get in their way once the plan went into motion. Then there was Maria. At first, Evan had been hesitant to bring her in. She was more than just a driver. She had a history that wasn't easy to ignore. But there was something about her cool confidence, the way she could navigate a car through the streets at high speed without batting an eyelash, that made her indispensable. She was also the only one who could get them in and out of the building without raising suspicion. He had done his background check, of course, and everything seemed in order. Still, a small part of Evan wondered if she was too perfect. But he pushed that thought aside. After all, perfection was what they needed. As the days drew closer to the heist, Evan could feel the excitement building. The planning had taken months, but now there was no more room for mistakes. The team met regularly to go over the details. Sophie would disable the building security, Leo would handle any unexpected threats, and Maria would make sure they had a clean getaway. It was a simple plan, really, if you were a master like Evan. Once they had the diamond, they would disappear into the night, leaving nothing but the faintest trace of their presence. The city would wake up the next morning, unaware that one of its most coveted treasures had vanished. Yet, as the heist day drew nearer, doubt started to gnaw at Evan. He would catch himself staring out the window at the skyline, the lights of the city shimmering like false promises. He remembered the world he once belonged to, the world of wealth and privilege. He remembered the look in his father's eyes before everything fell apart, the quiet desperation that he had refused to acknowledge. It was as if the heist was more than just a job. It was a way to reclaim what he had lost, to prove that he could still win. But win at what cost? Evan shook off the thoughts. There was no room for hesitation, no time for second-guessing. The job was set. The team was ready. And he couldn't afford to back out now. On the eve of the heist, Evan stood in front of the mirror in his cramped apartment. He adjusted his suit, the dark fabric fitting him perfectly, a reminder of the life he used to live. A small, almost imperceptible smile crossed his lips. This would be the moment that defined him. No more shadows of his father's failure. No more living in the past. He made one last check of the plan, double-checking every detail, from Sophie's hacking to Maria's getaway route. The pieces were all in place. There was nothing left to do but execute. The night would be theirs.